Avery, if you and Isla, your cousin, would come. Yeah, Isla, how are you doing? Come on. Well, I'd be scared of me too. Be very careful. Two lovely ladies. Well, I'm glad that you're here today. I don't know if you what they do at school or what you do in your families, but we celebrate this holiday is called Independence Day. Many, many, many years ago, back in the 1700s, our country was ruled by Great Britain, and we had a king, and we wanted to be our own nation. We didn't want to pay taxes to the king, or we didn't want to be ruled and governed by a country that was so far away. Across the other side of the ocean, we had lots of problems, lots of disagreements, and ultimately, as things happened in our history, we fought to be free so that we could be our own nation. Now, you will grow up, and I'm sure you've already heard us refer to ourselves as Americans. Well, actually, there is North America, and our country is part of that. Central America, and then South America. Bibi was born in South America. I was born in North America, almost up to the Canadian border. They're in Michigan. You'll find that people from Michigan, when they tell you where they're from, they'll hold up their hand and say, I'm from right here. Michigan is shaped like a hand. They'll point on the hand somewhere to let you know where they were born. Recently, some of our family got together, and one of my cousins was telling people where she lived. She's from Michigan. I have a minister friend who is from Colombia, and he was stopped by a police officer once, and he said something about my friend not being an American. And my friend said, yes, I'm an American. I'm from Colombia. Well, South America. You know, we call, actually, to be more precise, we are citizens of the United States of America. The United States. Now, Brazil also divides their country into states. They're the United States of America, too. But we think of ourselves as Americans, and we're the only Americans there are in the world. Canadians are Americans. Mexicans are Americans. We're all from there. Now, this is the flag of the United States of America. In national history, we use symbols and emblems and flags to symbolize what we believe in and who we are and what we're about. We have a flag just like this one flying out on the flagpole out in our parking lot outside. I don't know if anyone's ever told you before, but just a moment ago we pledged allegiance. Allegiance is like a promise to be faithful, to be dedicated. I'm not in favor of forcing people or making people say that pledge if they don't wish to. But I'm very proud to, and I have and did pledge my allegiance. That means I want to be a good citizen to my country. Now, there are many people who equate being a U.S. citizen with being a Christian. They're different. Not every Christian in the world is a U.S. citizen. Not every U.S. citizen is a Christian. It's different, but we get them confused sometimes. I called everyone here today. Nobody here is in uniform today, though there's always a possibility, even a crowd this small, that we might have someone who served in our nation's military. And so when we give the Pledge of Allegiance, this is the way a civilian salutes. We salute by taking our right hand and crossing our heart. And that's a salute. You know how, if someone is in the military and they're in uniform, have you ever seen someone salute? They go like this. They take their hand and they touch the brow, and their hand is cupped just a little bit, and they don't show the palm of their hand. There are some, the French, for instance, salute like this. Very different. But people within the service salute each other to show honor for rank or for authority. And if someone from our military were here today, when I called to salute, they would salute like that, to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Our commander-in-chief of all our military is our president. President Joe Biden right now is our commander-in-chief. I want to tell you just a little bit about the flag, and then it'll be just something that's almost like school in church, but it's also something good for Christians to know, because many of the people who founded our nation and wrote our nation's laws were Christians. And many of the principles that govern our nation are based upon biblical statutes and upon Christian principles. Now, red, white, and blue. The blue represents justice and perseverance. Justice is what's right. Now, these virtues that are about our flag are not about what we are always, but it is about what we aspire to be. We're not ever perfect. And we've made many failures and make many mistakes as a nation. And our history is littered with good things and terrible things. That's a part of being human beings. But we aspire to be just and to be noble. And so the blue in this field up here represents justice and perseverance, steadiness. The red represents bravery and valor, being brave, strength through bravery. The white represents innocence or purity. Of course, none of us are completely pure or innocent, and that's why Christians realize that we need a Savior, who is Jesus. Red, white, and blue. There are 13 stripes on the flag. Some of them are red stripes, some of them are white. When our country first started, it was created out of 13 colonies, separate, different colonies along the northeastern seaboard of our nation. Our nation spread. But those 13 colonies, those original colonies, are represented by these 13 stripes. Do you know how many stars there are in the blue field? That's right, there are 50. Because at this time right now, and has been during my entire life, there have been 50 states that make up our union. Now there are different dominions that are like Puerto Rico and Guam and so forth, the places that are part of our principality still. But the last two states that joined our union were Alaska and Hawaii. And those were already states when I became a nation. If you ever get a chance sometime, and you're on the iPad or you're on the internet, go to YouTube. And you probably won't remember this, but maybe your grandparents will help you. There's a comedian that we enjoyed listening to when we were growing up. His name was Red Skelton. And he explains the Pledge of Allegiance in an old video that you can watch on YouTube. And it's one of the best explanations of the pledge that I've ever heard. We pledge allegiance to the flag. That's the red, white, and blue, the stars, and the stripes. Sometimes our flag is just called the Stars and Stripes. Sometimes people call it Old Glory. All right? Well, that's about our flag. And it means very much to us when a soldier, an American soldier, a U.S. soldier, is brought home after falling in battle. Their remains are draped with the U.S. flag. I, as a minister, I've preached many funerals for people who have served in our military. And as they are laid to rest in a cemetery, often a flag is presented to their wife or their mother, to their husband, to a family member as a memorial and an act of gratitude for their service. A lot to think, a lot to know about. I have no idea what schools are teaching about our country these days, but I am very, very proud to be a Christian, and I believe that one of the greatest places in the world to be a Christian is right here in the United States of America. All right? Pardon the history lesson. Probably thought you wouldn't have to go to school today, but you did anyway. All right? Thank you very much. You can go back and sit with Bain.